If you take too long to get to a point to tell a story, then chances are people are going to get impatient and tune out. And you will end up losing friendships, relationships, and jobs, and forever wonder why you're not making deeper friendships, why you're not getting all the job opportunities that you want. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about how to get to the point faster while covering all the important points. And to do that, I'm going to show you a method called the declutter doctrine. Declutter doctrine, as you can see, has the word declutter, which we commonly use while talking about homes and organizing spaces. For example, if you have a wardrobe and it's totally filled up, no matter how nicely you put things into it, as you start using it, one thing is going to get on top of another and it's going to end up being very cluttered very soon. In fact, this way you're going to take longer getting ready because you have too many options, too many things stacked on top of each other. And the way out of it is to declutter. So while telling a story or pitching an idea, you can use the exact same declutter doctrine to declutter your story, to declutter your speech and make it clear and concise. And if you like staying updated with quick, useful communication tips like this, then subscribe to this channel and let's get going. All right, so what is decluttering? Decluttering basically means keeping what is absolutely necessary and editing out, removing what is not all that important. And that is where we stumble. We think every bit of information is useful, but it isn't. And sometimes because we cannot understand what is important, what is not, whether people will give us time or not, we end up either speaking too less or saying too much. So there are 3 ways we are going to declutter our stories and our pitches. Number 1, context. Context is the setup, the time, the location, the people present. That sets off the story. But sometimes we get into too much of embellishment. We get too into the details of this context. So if you just start with a clear, crisp, and short context, you're already saving so much time for yourself and for others. You only mention those people who matter in the storyline. You do not mention every single thing about the location. You only mention that one thing that is important for the listener to know. This is called need to know basis. If they do not need to know it, don't say it. Next comes the more challenging part, which is to make the whole body of your story shorter. So how to declutter the body of your story or the body of your pitch or the body of your email? Because God knows we are so out of patience these days. So the smart thing to do to make the body concise is to get into a rule of 3. That if I were to tell this story in just 3 sentences, what would I say? The other day, my daughter came home with a school project where they had to build a mission building out of cardboards. And this mission had a huge history, a lot of context, a lot of story to tell. So I told her, consider this like a museum piece and tell me about this building that you've built. I'm going to give you a minute. And I found she was having a hard time telling a 400-year-old story in just a few sentences. But it is possible. Who founded it and why? I'm going to probably talk about the biggest challenge it faced. And I'm also going to probably talk about what is the most enduring quality of this building. And that's it. That's how I'm going to concise a 400 years history into just 3 sentences. So now, if somebody asks you, tell me something about yourself, you have a 20 to 30 years history. So you have to get into the elevator pitch mode, which means when you meet a person in the elevator and you have just like 30 seconds with them and you have to pitch an idea, how do you do it in 30 seconds? And one of the cool ways of telling a story really quickly is to tell it backwards. So you start with the end. So if I want to take the example of the mission, I would say, this is a mission that has lived through world wars and outlasted huge turnovers of civilization since, I don't know when it was created. That way you've already reached the finish line and all you have to do is backtrack. So let's say I had an encounter with a tiger in a forest. I'm not going to start with, oh, you know what happened? One day I went to this forest and we booked the tickets and me and my friends, we all decided we haven't taken a break in a long time. No, you start by sentence, one time I had this encounter with a tiger, but I got out of there alive. That is the end of the story, but you're starting with that. So now, even if you run out of time while filling the details, it doesn't matter because you've already reached the end. Isn't that smart? By the way, this is a brand new channel, and it's only when you subscribe that another person gets to know whether this channel is worth watching or not, whether this video is worth their time or not. There's no other way for them to know. So do like and subscribe, and I hope that next time you're telling a story or giving a pitch, you're able to apply the declutter doctrine and make some really smart choices. See you in the next video.